Hello everyone. In the previous episode, Truong's mother and Hao searched everywhere for him, but all their efforts were in vain. Not a single clue turned up. In this episode, we follow tieu nu, a brave, determined young woman who refuses to accept leaving Truong behind somewhere lost in silence and mystery. Will she continue her search for him, no matter the danger and hardship? Or will she have to face the painful truth that he might be gone forever? What will tieu nu do when Truong is no longer there? A crucial decision will shape both their futures, and every step she takes is filled with suspense and emotion. Watch until the end hit. Like, subscribe, and join us on this unpredictable journey. Tieu nu woke up early. The sunlight was still faint, slipping through the cracks of the window, but her heart was already filled with worry. For days, there had been no news about Truong, the man she loved the most, and that feeling of helplessness kept creeping into every thought. Still, she knew she couldn't give up. Leaving Truong behind in this wide, harsh world was something she could never forgive herself for. Beside her, there was Dewey, the little boy she had to take care of every single day. That responsibility only made tieu nu more determined. She couldn't collapse. She couldn't let despair swallow her whole. Every morning, she walked out to the garden where the melon vines were still covered in morning dew. The air was quiet, with only the rustling of leaves and distant bird song. But inside her, everything was heavy and tense. Every move she made now carried purpose, picking each melon carefully, choosing the best ones, making sure not to damage the rest. Her small hands sometimes trembled from exhaustion and worry, yet she kept cutting, placing each melon into the basket, calculating every step so nothing would go to waste. She knew that the money from today's melons would go toward taking care of Dewey for meals, clean clothes, and all the little things he needed. But even as she worked, her mind never left Truong. His face kept appearing before her, his eyes, his smile, every familiar gesture she could remember in detail. She told herself that no matter how tired or discouraged she felt, she had to keep going. Because if she gave up, Truong might never be found, and Dewey would be left without proper care. When the basket was full, tieu nu carefully lifted it and started walking down the path to the market. Each step was filled with anxiety. The road was familiar, but every step made her heartbeat quicken. She kept reminding herself to stay strong, even as the challenges grew heavier. Questions kept echoing in her mind with no answers. Where is Truong now? Is he safe? Has anyone seen him? Those thoughts hit her over and over, like waves making her walk faster, her chest tighter. When she reached the market, she had to weave through the busy crowd. Buyers, sellers, laughter voices calling out prices. Everything around her was lively. Yet inside, all she could feel was silence and the image of Truong. Even while working, she couldn't stop scanning the faces around her, wondering if someone might look familiar or if anyone had seen the posters she had put up. Every passing moment stretched endlessly, filled with tension and hope. Tieu nu set her basket on the stall, arranging the melons. Carefully, the big ones, the small ones, so customers could easily pick what they liked. She wiped her hands and exhaled, but the fatigue was still there. Watching the crowd pass by, she wondered if any of them had seen Truong, if anyone might recognize him and call her. But there was nothing, only the noise of the market and the carefree lives of strangers. Each time a customer came by, Tieu Nu still kept her eyes open, scanning her surroundings. She smiled softly as she handed over each melon, counted the money carefully, but her heart stayed restless. Whenever someone glanced at the small photo of Truong, she kept hidden in her pocket. She held her breath, waiting, hoping they might stop, that maybe they recognized him. That constant tension made every second feel like a test of her strength. Time passed slowly. Tieu Nu kept reminding herself to stay strong, to hold on to hope. She wondered if all these small efforts would ever lead to something, if Truong would somehow see the signs she'd left behind. Deep down, she knew she had to keep going. Every melon sold, every flyer she'd posted, they were all part of her search for him. Small steps that still mattered. Sometimes, amid the noise of the market, the laughter and chatter, Tieu Nu felt an emptiness inside. She looked at Truong's photo, closed her eyes, and imagined where he might be, if he was okay, if he was safe. The feeling of helplessness crept in again, but she quickly pushed it away. She had to find him. She couldn't let him disappear into nothing. She had to be strong for Dewey and for Truong. As the sun climbed higher and the market filled with bright colors, the greens of vegetables, the gold of ripe melons, Tieu Nu kept standing there, refusing to give up. She sold one melon after another, carefully counting the money, her mind still racing with thoughts, searching for clues, praying for Truong's safety. Every small action carried her determination and her hope. Every moment she sat there, she thought of Truong of Dewey and reminded herself to stay strong. Every second that passed was another heartbeat, another reminder that she couldn't give up. People might glance at the photo and move on, but to her, that picture was everything, her last hope, her only chance to bring back the one she loved. Through all the noise and chaos of the afternoon, the worry never left her. She felt the loneliness, the emptiness, but also an unbreakable resolve. Tieu Nu knew this journey wasn't just about selling melons or waiting for news. It was a fight against time, against fear, against despair itself. Tieu Nu walked down the familiar path that led to the house Truong had once spent his savings to build for her. Her heart felt both heavy and restless. The house was still under construction, the walls unfinished, the window frames incomplete. But to her, it wasn't just a building. It was a symbol of love, of the dreams and hopes they once shared. With every step, she could feel her heartbeat quicken, a mix of longing and nervous energy rising inside her. On the way, she passed by the carpenter, who was still hard at work. When he saw her, he smiled and nodded politely, his eyes warm and respectful. Tieu Nu smiled back and handed him a fresh melon, a small gift, her quiet way of saying thank you for all his effort in helping complete the home. The carpenter accepted it with a gentle nod before taking his leave, leaving Tieu Nu alone in the stillness of the half-built house. Standing in the yard, she felt a weight in her chest. Memories of Truong flooded her mind, his warm smile, his kind eyes, the moments they spent choosing materials together, planning every detail of the house. Every brick, every doorway, every corner seemed to hold a trace of him. Even in his absence, she could feel his presence everywhere. Tieu Nu placed her hand on the unfinished wall and took a deep breath. Warmth and sadness washed over her all at once. She remembered the simple yet meaningful moments they had shared, their laughter, their talks about the future. The house wasn't finished yet, but for her, it already held all those precious memories. The thought of Truong filled her every breath, every thought leaving her both aching and hopeful. She stood there watching as the fading sunlight touched the walls and roof tiles, casting a soft golden glow over everything. The quiet scene felt poetic, peaceful. Tieu nu told herself she couldn't give up. Not now. Not ever. No matter where Truong was, no matter how little she knew she had to keep going. Every action, taking care of Dewey selling melons, scanning the faces of strangers at the market, was part of her mission to find him and protect the ones she loved. Even with the weight of longing and worry pressing on her heart, a deep sense of determination began to grow inside her. The house might not be complete yet, but to her, it stood as living proof of love and hope. And wherever Truong was, she believed that one day he would come back to finish not only the house, but the story they started together. Tieu nu stood there in the quiet glow of sunset, holding on to his memory in her heart, a silent promise that hope was still alive, and she would never let it fade. Would Truong one day return to see everything she had done for him? Or would she have to keep walking this path alone through challenges with no end in sight?